Hey everybody, it's Elsie. This is the second time I've tried to make this. The first time there was an echo, but I wanted to fill in some gaps, maybe correct a couple details in the very sweet video that my ex-boyfriend and now friend Paul made to help promote 5,000 Hugs. He told the story of how we met, how we connected, and I just wanted to give my sort of version of it, which he's a big picture person. He's not a details person. So I'm just filling in some of the details for him. Okay.
Intrigues me. So I keep reaching out to her, and finally, when I get up enough nerve to say, "Why don't you remember a long time ago, like a year ago, we were going to go on this date, and you were going to give me all this advice. You still have some advice. I've been single for a while. I've been following you. Um, can we just go out?" Now, I'm just telling you, I don't do that. I've never done that. I didn't have to do it with my wife I was married to. I met her at like church. So like we're just in the youth group together. And I married her. So it's like I don't know how to like go out and find a stranger online, follow them on Facebook, get to know them and ask them for a date. Never done that before except with her.
All right. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit.
Okay, I'll keep it shorter. I talk her into meeting me while I'm working close by at a coffee shop, doing some interviews while I'm working at Squad, doing some user research project. The truth is, I had this little project that I had to do, had to interview some people and talk to them about the app and get their feedback and put it all together in some videos and something and show it to the people I was working with.
Okay. So he made it sound like in his video that he just like surreptitiously like was at a coffee shop and said, "Hey, why don't you come meet me at this coffee shop?" But what really happened was that he had in August of it was 2019. Well, he'd been following me, as he said, very closely on Facebook, and he knew I was in Vermont for a while. And he sent me a message and he's like, "Hey, I know you're in Vermont. When are you going to be back so we can hang out?" So I said a month and a half from now. So the poor guy wanted to go out with me and he still had to wait another month and a half until I got back. So then when he saw that I was back because he was watching my every move, he that week that I got back, he's like, "Hey, do you want to get coffee?" And we set up a time to meet. And he told me he asked me so quickly when I got back because he didn't want anyone to beat him to it.
I scheduled all of this activity to happen at a coffee shop that happened to be right around the corner from her house because I would see her on Facebook going to this place called Black Crow all the time. There's two Black Crows in St. Pete, and I got the wrong one, so I didn't end up being like 2 blocks from her house, but I wasn't far. And, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't the Black Crow.
Okay, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit.
Like she was getting ready to run out of the
Oh, wait.
Okay, now it's all coming back. I did go, and I've had all these interviews at the Black Crow, but the wrong one. Then when I was there, it goes, "Hey, I'm doing these interviews. I'm close by. You always said you'd have that coffee with me. I'm at a coffee shop." She says, "Well, why don't we meet at one that's closer to my house, and then I'll just walk there." That's what it was. Then I drive over to that coffee shop. I'm sitting in there. She walks in with a little backpack. She sits across from me, and I'm sure she's got her lecture ready. And I hope.
Okay. I show up for the date. Okay. And this is, he left out a part of this, of the date. So the first half of the date, and I don't even think I gave him any dating advice. I don't know. I was just, I sat down and I was real skeptical. Okay. And he starts telling me all of these very impressive things that he's done. Now, I don't know this guy very well. He could be a bullshitter. So I'm just kind of taking it, with all of the grain of salt. I mean, everything he was telling me now I know was, completely true. But at the time, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, buddy. I think he was sitting over there like, Jesus Christ, what do I have to do to impress this chick? She seems thoroughly unimpressed with everything I'm telling her. So that's when he dropped this bombshell on me, which I will let him tell you.
Open up with this. I said, Elsie, I don't mean to like put on any pressure, but you're the first woman I've ever chosen to be on a date with. Like chosen and sought after and worked for and plot and planned for a year. Like she looked at me like she was getting ready to run out of it. She's like, now that's pretty heavy to lay something like that on someone. She didn't have a voice like mine, but
My exact words were no pressure. Like, hello, that's like a crazy thing to say to someone on a first date.
it was stern. And she was like, uh, Paul, now, I appreciate you saying that. That's very flattering. But, cause that's not Elsie either. I don't know how to impersonate her. But it was something between those two impersonations that said, you're freaking me the fuck out. And don't you know that's a little intense? You're coming on. I was like, I'm not saying like you're like I'm going to stalk you. I'm just saying you're the first one I've chosen. Anyway, I tried to backpedal. Eventually, somehow I backpedaled enough that I found out on our second date that she kind of thought it was charming. Creepy, but charming.
So, I will tell you that that is something that definitely gets your attention on a first date if someone says that to you. Okay. So even though I was kind of like, this guy is, pretty out there to say that on a first date, I also thought it was pretty ballsy. Just like, that takes a lot of cojones to like tell someone that on a first date. So it definitely intrigued me and, made me feel kind of special. Like, it was just so that's sort of how our first date went and how we met, and it was very sweet and quirky and different, and he definitely got my attention, not just by saying that, but he also had like really good fun energy, and he's a sexy motherfucker. That's all I have to say. So those are my interjections into his story about how we met.
I guess that's me. Creepy, but charming.